My name is Oscar Hill. I'm running for the Student Voice Community Leader. My slogan is, you can't have community without accessibility.
My name is Adetutu Fafore. I'm a student studying a Master's in International Business Management. I'm running for the post of Student Voice Leader International Experience. For me, my slogan is, I feel every student should feel welcome, supported, and valued in the community. With me, we can drive inclusive, enriching, supportive community for everybody in DMU. Thank you.
And I'm Roz MacGregor-Devlin. I'm running for Communities Officer. I study music production, bloody hell. And I don't really have a slogan, but I'm running because I started the LVL1 Sessions, and I also stand for workers' rights. I'm a union delegate for Unite Hospitality, so I think I'd be a really good fit.
Yeah, sounds great. So I've got a couple of statements to present to you guys, so if you just use the emojis in your hand just to let me know, and then I'll ask you a bit more about it. So the first one is, all university students should be required to join at least one society or sports team as part of their university experience. Okay, so a bit of difference. Do you want to start and explain why you chose that one?
A lot of disabled students might need to focus a lot of their time on doing their work. I know that this year I've tried to join societies, but because I was retired a lot of the time, I've ended up not being able to. So if it was a requirement, I would be worried about also having to attend those sessions. Whereas if I wanted to and had the ability to, then I absolutely would. But making it forced creates pressure for students.
And on the back of that, do you also want to explain why you chose the same?
Quite the same sort of thing as Oscar was saying, but at the same point, if somebody wants to join and be part of a community, the whole point of that is that they have the choice and they have an area where they've chosen to go. And the second that you put a kind of forcefulness onto that, there are some societies that are a lot bigger, a lot smaller, that have different sort of requirements. If you're in sports, sometimes you have to go to multiple classes a week to be able to be part of a team. So rugby, football, these are kind of things that you have to go to a lot of the time. If you don't have the energy for that, it's not really applicable. And for some societies, it's built on the fact that you can come and go as you please. So I go to the music society a lot, and I know that some weeks you just can't make it, which at that point, societies are there for fun, they're there for engagement, and there are lots of other ways other than just societies to get that out of the university that you're at. It's just forcing it gives you less of a chance to actually be part of that society. It just feels like another part of the lesson.
Yeah, I picked this, although it's a matter of choice to join a society. But as an international student, coming to a foreign environment, you want to mix with people, to touch for cultural connections, to have different knowledge about different tactics, how to be inclusive with people, to share different people's background. So I feel it's a matter of choice, but for me, as an international student, I belong to a society because I love to meet different people from different backgrounds, different ethnic, to socialize, to meet with people, to connect, and to see how everything works in a foreign environment. So to me, it's good to join a society.
Yeah.
So I pick that.
Cool. And then the second one is that the university should waive certain fees, such as graduation costs, so that students from low-income backgrounds can find it more accessible. Yeah? Okay, so each of you got a different response there. So do you want to start, and then we'll make our way across?
I've got neither agree or disagree. I think that for that kind of thing to happen, there should always be a way for less privileged students to be able to go to these things like graduation. It's one of the biggest days of your life. You've got your wedding, your 21st birthday, and your graduation is a big thing. If you do have the ability to pay, then it funds so many jobs. I personally work at the Curve doing the tech that was setting up part of the graduations. That's a job that I get paid for, which means that, I think that there should be some sort of monetization behind it. But I also think that there are so many ways of funding and charities that should go into that. If you waive the fees completely, then there's no way to actually fund the rest of it.
Mm-hmm. Cool. And then do you want to explain why you chose
Yeah,
yours?
I'm not saying they should waive everything partially, but they could just try to look into it, because I attended the last graduation. I just came into the UK last year, and this year was my first time attending the graduation, and I had to pay to view the gallery. So I was like, wow, I'm a student, I have to pay for this. The money was for something else, but I had to pay because I want to attend for some other people to feel, so that they can feel engaged and feel welcome. So I think they should try to look into it. Maybe they could waive a little bit, because they need to fund some part of the graduation activities too. So if they could look into it and waive a little fee, maybe people will be able to attend more. Because some students are still surviving. Like for instance, we students, we can't work more than 20 hours, and we have to pay a lot of bills, and electricity bill, maybe hostel bill. So if they can look into that, I think a lot of people will want to partake into it. So that's my own opinion.
Yeah, that's cool. And then yourself?
I was coming at it from a more optimistic view, where if there are ways to waive the fees for those certain students, then absolutely that would be something that we should try and encourage, because everyone deserves an opportunity to do all of these things. Obviously, it might not be possible to do that kind of thing, and ergo, I agree with what everyone else is saying. But if there were ways like fundraisers and things like that for those students that need to focus on survival, then obviously that would be the way to go.
Yeah, sounds great. And then the final one is that universities should offer more wellbeing services specifically tailored for minority and marginalized student groups. Okay, everyone's kind of got a smiley face there, so do you want to start and then we'll make our way across again?
Yeah, because obviously marginalized means a lot of different things, like your different backgrounds, different mental disorders that you may have, and having things more tailored to people will hopefully help them feel like they belong as well, so they have like a community of other people that deal with these things, but then also they feel like they're getting actual help, because sometimes if it's more broad, then they don't feel like their situation is being handled correctly, and it can be a lot. Whereas if you have these tailored ways for people to get help, then one, they'll be more likely to do so, because they'll be less stressed about if their situation is going to be taken seriously, and it will just be good for them overall, and they'll get the help that they actually need.
Yeah. And then on the back of that, do you want to explain what you chose to say?
Sure. So Leicester especially, and DMU, we stand at some of the highest rates for autism, for LGBT. We have one of the most diverse cultural populations in the entirety of the UK. The fact that that is part of DMU is something that's absolutely amazing, and also it means that there's so much opportunity for connections, not just inside of the university but also outside of the university, so that absolutely everybody from any sort of background should have access to where they can go, who they can speak to, and what's around. Like we have Narborough Road right next to us, which has just about every single cultural shop that you can get available. Same with things like the Golden Mile. We have the biggest Diwali festivals, stuff like that, outside of India. It's just an amazing city, which means that we have a real big amount of just inclusion that we can really, really work with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for me, well-being should be taken into consideration for international students coming into a foreign environment. Most of us, we go into different cultural shock, maybe different kind of isolation. So I think most of us, we try to kind of get separated, like isolated. But if this could be taken into consideration, like checking up on people's well-being issues that need to be related, talked about, and sorted out, I think it's going to encourage people mental health, and they'll be able to talk more. That's why I said I feel every student's voice should be heard, welcome, and also enriched, so that they could encourage them better to study more in school. That's my own opinion.
Yeah, sounds great. So thank you guys so much for coming to today's interviews, and I wish you all the best with the rest of your election journey.
Thank you.
Thank you.